flying team, the Red Arrows! Red 1 has moved the team into short diamond formation. Reds 8 and 9 tuck in to form the Red Arrows' famous trademark diamond 9 shape. They're reaching now around 6,000 feet above us as they slow down to about 150 miles an hour. Red 1 is squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his second year leading the team. He was a wingman with the Red Arrows from 2005 to 2007 and culminated in leading the Synchro pair. He's a former Jaguar weapons instructor and Jaguar display pilot.
You say?
Smoke comes on as Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle. The 3 aircraft on each wing now drop back one position to form a shape which is named after the platform of the American fighter jet, the F-15 Eagle. Introduced this to the show this year to commemorate 70 years since the arrival of the American 8th and 9th Air Forces in Europe.
There we go, it's
On
going
the
to roll.
right-hand side, this is the Eagle roll. As they come canopy on, boys and girls, this is where they'll see you waving. We fly the majority of our formations with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side, and the even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. Red 6 and 7, the Synchro pair, tend to fly in direct line astern behind the leader. On the bottom of the formation now is Red 4, Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. Pert is in his second year with the team and is the team's executive officer. He's a former Hawk flying instructor and was the solo Hawk display pilot. Eventually he flew the Harrier Jar 9 operationally over Afghanistan. The smoke goes off now. The team have reformed a different shape, this time named after the iconic supersonic airliner. And as they come left, some very patriotic red, white and blue in Concorde. Well, this year is the 70th anniversary of Operation Chastise, the famous Dambusters raid carried out by 617 Squadron on the night of the 16th of May 1943. Those brave air crews flew their 19 Lancaster bombers deep into enemy territory to drop their bouncing bombs. 617 Squadron still operate today and fly the Tornado GR4 from RAF Lossiemouth. So now in for the left-hand side, forming the shape of a Lancaster bomber to commemorate 70 years since the Dambusters. Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson is on the leader's left wing as we look at the tail on now. It's Mark's first year with the team, and he flew with 617 Squadron flying the Tornado GR4 over Iraq and Afghanistan. He's also completed an operational tour over Libya in 2011. The Mark's wife Katie and their son James is here today with a lot of Katie's family. So a big hello to Katie and James and the rest of Katie's family. In for the right-hand side now, this is our tightest shape. This is Apollo. The jets here around 5 to 6 feet apart as they fly the Apollo roll. Once again, boys and girls, get waving. On the leader's right wing is another of our first-year pilots. That's Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr. Ollie is another former Tornado GR4 pilot and has spent a year as a Hawk flying, spent a tour as a Hawk flying instructor. Smoke's back on now. The team are reforming another shape, this time Typhoon. You saw the Typhoon display just over an hour here hour ago here today. The Typhoon is the Royal Air Force's multi-role combat aircraft. We now have 4 frontline squadrons of Typhoons, whose primary duty it is to protect the airspace of the UK and the Falkland Islands on quick reaction alert duties. In from the left now in Typhoon, the Typhoon Loop.
There we go.
Pulling up at 400 miles an hour, climbing now to a height of 6,000 feet, so a mile above us. One of our pilots is a former Typhoon pilot. Red 9 is in the jet. It's moving to the outside of the formation now, and he's flattered to like a child. It's his second year with the team, and he flew the Typhoon, having been a hawk flying instructor in his first tour. Coming left now, this formation shape is Signet. Wing is the last of our first-year pilots. That's Red 5 Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve is another former hawk flying instructor and was posted to the Harrier GR9. Unfortunately, only spending a short time flying the jet before it was taken out of service, and he then transferred to the Toledo GR4, flying over Libya in 2011. The smoke's back on now. The team are forming a big shape. This is called Big Vixen, named after the 1960s naval fighter, the Sea Vixen. Now from the right-hand side, we fly the Big Vixen roll. Once again, as they come over the top, climbing to 2,500 feet, with the jets at 400 miles an hour, only 6 to 8 feet away from each other. Behind the castle now, which is a fabulous backdrop, you see that the team have formed one big red arrow. This shape is 9 arrow, and they're now setting up to start the second half of the red arrow's display. Up until now, we've seen all 9 aircraft fly in very precise, close formation. And we're now going to change the tempo as we show you how the hawk aircraft can perform. We're going to be splitting the formation down into a number of sections. Watch now as Reds 8 and 9 drop back to form a feathered arrow shape. Feathered arrow is a bit of a mouthful to say on the radio, so it's shortened to Fred. So this is Fred, and out the front, Reds 1 to 5 are Enid, after Enid Blyton's famous 5, and Reds 6 to 9 are Jippo. That is the nickname of the first gentleman to lead the 4-ship in 1968. A new manoeuvre for 2013 now. Get your cameras ready as the team pull up in Fred.
Watch boat, man.
Noticed already that because we had to go for a spare aircraft, Red 1's jet doesn't have any smoking capability. That's why Red 1's jet doesn't have any smoke today. A little bit more about 617 Squadron now. The squadron was formed at our home base of RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire, and it was formed in March 1943, only 2 months before the Dambusters raids took place. During the war, the 6 series squadrons in the Royal Air Force were reserved for specialist squadrons, like 617 Squadron. Nowadays, the 6 series squadrons belong to the Royal Air Force Reserve units. If you'd like to find out more about the reserves, who supplement the Royal Air Force's regular services, then you can please type in to Google RAF Reserves. You'll see the 4 aircraft of Jippo. Get ready for the detonator.
Oh, come on. Very cool.
above the sea, closing at over 800 miles an hour before the amazing Jippo Pass. Or 6 times the force of gravity, where everything in their bodies weighs 6 times more than normal, so they're working hard to counter those G-forces. They roll out back towards us, they fly the cyclone. Inverted V, and to the right is Red 9, who flies in between their V in the goose, although we might not see it with the castle in the way. Here we go! Secondary effect of that is that we need a higher power setting to maintain speed, and in turn that gives us a very deep smoke colour, as you can see, as Enid climbs steeply to our right. Looking front now for the Synchro pair, pulling up at 500 miles an hour. Climbing to 7,000 feet, the smoke comes on as Synchro draw their heart. Red 7's on the right-hand side of the heart. He would like me to dedicate this to his girlfriend Jen and also Jen's mum Bernie. So Bernie, this one's for you from Red 7. Clearing the spear through the heart now is Red 8, Flight Lieutenant Ben Plank, who's in his 4th year with the team and was the leader of the Synchro pair last year. Left and right again now for the Synchro guys. Red 6 on the right and Red 7 on the left. Back down to 100 feet they fly to perform the double roll. By Reds 8 and 9. Pulling up in Vixen formation at 4G. They're now twisting this loop through 90 degrees in a manoeuvre known as the quarter clover. Now get your cameras ready for the good bit, ladies and gentlemen. This is the vertical break. And now left and right again for the Synchro pair. This time Red 6 is on our left and Red 7 is on our right. They're closing at 850 miles an hour and they're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360-degree 6G turns. This manoeuvre is called the carousel. Was actually changing the smoke colour at each of these 3 crosses using the buttons on the aircraft smoke in the sky in the Typhoon. The team is now in its 49th concurrent display season, having been formed in 1965, and has performed nearly 4,500 public displays in 54 countries around the world. In fact, our 4,500th display, if flown according to plan this week, will actually take place next Saturday at the RAF Waddington International Air Show. Now, behind the castle, we will see Jippo appearing, this time for one of my favourite manoeuvres, where Reds 6 and 7 will be flying upside down in close formation. Reds 8 and 9 will be rolling around them. Here they come. So Reds 6 and 7 now around 8 feet away from each other, upside down. 8 and 9 roll around them in the Corkscrew. Red 7 working very hard there and flying upside down, but all the corrections are in complete opposite sense. So as Jippo finished the Corkscrew, we need to look again to the left for the 5 headlights of Enid when we eventually see them. The inside pilots perform tight rolls to the outside of the formation in the rollbacks. Look directly to the front and get your cameras ready for the return of a crowd favourite manoeuvre. Reds 8 and 9 roll around Reds 6 and 7 who perform their own rolls in the Jippo break. Transferred from the Royal New Zealand Air Force to the Royal Air Force in 2002. Well, Jim's girlfriend Jen is an air traffic control officer in the Royal Air Force, and she's currently deployed in the Falkland Islands. So now's a good chance on National Forces Day to spare a thought for all of those military personnel deployed around the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Synchro pair back to the front for their final manoeuvre, the opposition barrel roll. As a display's finale. Get your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Vixen break. And we are the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows. The aircraft now go and gather to fly back to our home base at RAF Scarborough, where we're then going to turn the aircraft around and then fly down to RAF Bryce Norton this afternoon and get ready for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone tomorrow lunchtime.